Welcome to our deep dive into the dynamic leadership of Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. Often cited as the world's most popular elected official, Modi's appeal transcends national boundaries and resonates with diverse audiences globally. Now, I know what you're thinking, Trevor India. That's a long way from The Daily Show, and you're right, it is. But stick with me, people. This isn't just about geography. It's about understanding the rise of a leader who has captured the attention and votes of over 1 billion people. How did a former tea seller become one of the most powerful and popular figures on the world stage? Well, that's what we're here to unpack. So buckle up as we explore the factors contributing to Narendra Modi's global phenomenon. To understand Modi, you gotta understand his story. This isn't some silver spoon politician, folks. Modi's journey began in a small town selling tea. That's right, tea. The man knows his chai. And that narrative, that rags to riches story, it resonates. It's a powerful image, especially in a country grappling with poverty and inequality. But it's not just the backstory, it's the man himself. Modi cultivates this image of a strong, decisive leader. He's got the charisma, the booming voice, the kind of presence that just commands attention. He's like the charismatic uncle at a family reunion, except he's running a country. And speaking of family, Modi connects with the people like few leaders can. He's got this radio show, Man Ki Baat, which basically translates to talking heart to heart. It's like a fireside chat, if the fireside was a radio wave reaching millions across India. He uses it to talk directly to the people, address their concerns, share his vision. No fancy speeches, no political jargon, just straight talk. It's surprisingly effective. He comes across as relatable, someone who understands the common man's struggles. This connection, this ability to make people feel heard, is crucial to his appeal. It's not just politics, it's personal. He's not just a distant figure in Delhi, he's Modi ji, a leader who listens and cares. But it's not just the soft touch, folks. Modi's also a master of the grand gesture, the big announcement, the kind of spectacle that gets people talking. He understands the power of optics, the importance of creating a narrative, and he plays it like a maestro. Whether it's inaugurating massive infrastructure projects or launching ambitious social welfare schemes, Modi knows how to make a splash. He's like a one-man PR machine, churning out headlines and dominating the news cycle. This combination of personal touch and political savvy, of humble beginnings and a larger-than-life persona, is what makes Modi so fascinating. He's a study in contrasts, a man who can speak to both the aspirations and anxieties of a nation on the rise.
Now, let's talk about the economy, because that's where Modi's report card gets interesting. Under his watch, India has seen significant economic growth. I'm talking about a country that was once synonymous with poverty, now being hailed as a potential economic superpower. Modi's big on infrastructure. Roads, railways, airports. He's building them all, his logic. A strong infrastructure is the backbone of a strong economy. And you know what? He's not wrong. Then there's his push for digitalization. From digital payments to e-governance, Modi's trying to bring India into the 21st century, technologically speaking. He wants to make India a global hub for technology and innovation, and he's putting his money where his mouth is. Remember Make in India? That's Modi's ambitious plan to turn India into a global manufacturing powerhouse. He wants to attract foreign investment, boost domestic production, and create jobs. It's a bold vision, no doubt, but one that's facing its fair share of challenges. See, critics argue that Modi's economic model, often dubbed the Gujarat model after his time as Chief Minister of Gujarat, primarily benefits big businesses and overlooks the needs of the poor and marginalized. They point to rising inequality and unemployment as evidence that the boom isn't reaching everyone. And then there's the whole demonetization thing. Back in 2016, Modi shocked the nation and the world by pulling high-value currency notes out of circulation overnight. The goal was to curb black money and corruption, but it caused chaos and hardship, especially for the poor who rely on cash transactions. So, the jury's still out on the long-term impact of Modi's economic policies. Has he put India on the path to prosperity, or is it a case of style over substance? Only time will tell.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the cow in the room. Modi's rise has coincided with a surge in Hindu nationalism in India. And this is where things get, shall we say, A little complicated. See, India, for all its diversity, was founded on the principles of secularism and tolerance. But under Modi, who himself comes from a Hindu nationalist background, there's been a noticeable shift. Critics argue that his government has pursued policies that marginalize minorities, particularly Muslims, and that there's been a rise in religious intolerance and violence. Now, Modi's supporters argue that he's simply promoting Indian culture and values and that accusations of intolerance are overblown. They point to his development agenda and his focus on uniting the country as proof that he has India's best interests at heart. But there's no denying that Modi's brand of nationalism has struck a chord with a significant section of the population. He's tapped into a sense of pride and identity, a belief that India is finally reclaiming its rightful place on the world stage. And let's not forget the diaspora. Modi's cultivated a strong following among the Indian diaspora, particularly in countries like the US and the UK. He's addressed packed stadiums, rubbed shoulders with celebrities, and presented himself as a global leader who represents a new, confident India. This appeal to national pride, to a sense of belonging and shared identity, is a powerful force. It's helped Modi consolidate his power base and silence his critics. But it's also raised concerns about the future of secularism and pluralism in India.
All right, let's take this show on the road, because Modi's not just content with running India, he's got global ambitions. He's been jet-setting around the world, striking deals, and building relationships. You could say he's doing for Indian diplomacy what Bollywood did for dance sequences, making it big, bold, and impossible to ignore. One of Modi's key strategies has been to strengthen ties with countries like the US, Japan, and Australia, forming strategic partnerships to counterbalance China's growing influence in the region. It's a delicate dance, but one that Modi's been navigating with a mix of pragmatism and assertiveness. He's also been busy cozying up to world leaders. From Trump to Putin, Modi's not afraid to play the field. He understands that in today's interconnected world, it's all about building alliances and securing your interests. He's like the ultimate networker, always working the room, always looking for an edge. And let's not forget about the diaspora again. Modi's recognized the power of the Indian diaspora and has actively engaged with them, hosting massive rallies and events that have become legendary. He's selling them a vision of a new India, a rising power that they can be proud to be a part of. But it's not all been smooth sailing. Modi's faced criticism for his handling of the Kashmir issue, his stance on climate change, and his human rights record. His critics argue that his foreign policy is more about style than substance, more about photo ops than concrete achievements. Love him or hate him, there's no denying that Modi's made India a force to be reckoned with on the world stage. He's transformed India's image from a sleepy giant to a confident player, and he's doing it all with a swagger that's both impressive and, some might say, a little unnerving.
Okay, let's be real for a second. In this day and age, it's not enough to just be a good leader. You gotta be a good brand. And Modi? He gets it. He understands the power of image, the importance of controlling the narrative. He's basically the Beyoncé of world leaders. Always on point, always in control. Modi's team is social media savvy. They're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. They're constantly churning out content, sharing his message, and building his brand. They're like a well-oiled PR machine, always ready to spin a story, deflect criticism, and promote the Modi vision. And it's working. Modi's one of the most followed world leaders on social media, with millions of followers hanging on to his every tweet. He uses these platforms to connect directly with the people, bypass traditional media, and control his own narrative. He's also a master of the photo op. Whether he's doing yoga, cuddling a baby tiger, or sporting a stylish vest, Modi knows how to create an image that resonates. He's cultivated a strong visual identity, one that's both relatable and aspirational. But it's not just about the visuals. Modi's team is also adept at controlling the message. They've been accused of muzzling the press, cracking down on dissent, and creating an environment where critical voices are silenced. Modi's supporters argue that he's simply a victim of his own success, that his opponents are threatened by his popularity and are resorting to smear tactics. They point to his landslide election victories as proof that the people are with him. Whatever your take, there's no denying that Modi's a master of the media game. He's used it to his advantage, building a powerful brand and consolidating his power. The question is, can this level of control be sustained in the long run? Or will the cracks eventually start to show?
So, there you have it. Narendra Modi's popularity is a blend of strong leadership, economic initiatives, cultural nationalism, adept diplomacy, and effective media strategies. He's a complex and often contradictory figure, but there's no denying his impact on India and the world. As he embarks on his third term, aiming to transform India into a top global economy, his journey will be one to watch. Will he be able to deliver on his promises? Or will the challenges facing India prove too great? One thing's for sure, with Modi at the helm, it's never a dull moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video widely.